Hello and welcome to the 26th episode of the Living the Dream podcast. I'm Linas Kilius. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Eryn Richardson. We're both brokers, managers, and partners of Century 21 Heritage Group. And today we've got a very special guest returning to the show, Vonny Fast from Sharp Gifts, the #1 rep in North America for Cutco closing gifts. Vonny, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to see you guys. Yeah, it's been 2 years since we did this? I don't know, maybe even a little longer. So it's great.
It may have been a bit longer. I was looking up the date.
Yeah,
It was like
COVID times. It was COVID
was
times.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it 4 years?
It was ways back.
Oh my gosh, it was 4 years. Wow. Okay, look at us go, guys.
Yeah.
And I love my scissors, by the way.
Good. I'm so grateful. I was like, I know he doesn't have that. So I recently sent Eryn a pair of scissors because, yeah, he's the man. And I recognize, too, I got to send you, Linus, a sharpener for your straight edge to your Cutco, unless you have something at home that you can touch it up with.
Well, I've been using a sharpener, but honestly, not only do I love the knife that you sent me, and thank you so much again for that, but my kids and my wife, we use it we use it for every meal prep time. We're always take out the Cutco knife with the red handle, right? And it's got the custom crafted for Linas Kilius on it too, which is a touch that I really love too. But best knife in the kit that we have, and we use it every day for everything. It's pretty amazing.
And I have your thank you to me that you wrote after I sent you that. It was just so special. There's not many, I have some thank you cards but there's not many thank yous that I print off. There's 2. Yours is one of them. Just was such a beautiful, I don't know, kind of heartfelt. We were both having a really crazy, not good day, and your gift showed up. And it was just really nice, special thank you back too. Not that I was expecting anything back, but it was really, really meaningful. So,
I thought the amazing thing, you didn't just send a knife; you also sent a cookie from one of your favorite corner shops too, right? And
about that.
I was like, that was such an awesome touch. Me and my wife both loved that. It was a really special moment too. And I was like, oh, Laura, don't believe what came in the mail today. and it was really heartwarming too. I think it was in the midst of the pandemic at the time as well. Right. So it's it was a little extra special too.
Yeah.
For that extra moment.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
But yeah, thank you for that.
It's not every day you try to bake cookies and then mail them ideally while they're still warm and hope that 2 to 3 business days later they're still good. I was like, this is taking a bit of a chance. Let's hope it's good, doesn't fall apart. Anyway,
well, like I said, they were delicious.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I was like, Eryn and Linas are getting Cutco knives, and we had talked about power cookies for some reason on the last podcast. I feel like in life I could sell 2 things that I believe in so much: Cutco as a gift, and Cutco in general, because they're super high quality, world class, right? They're good gifts, and cookies, power cookies from Gravity, this coffee shop here in Calgary. So I baked the cookie, you can buy the dough. You used to be able to buy the dough. I baked it. I got those knives custom, and then I sent them off thinking those cookies are still warm. I hope they land properly. Sharp knives and cookies. Boom. Done.
They did, and they were delicious.
Yeah, right? So good. Well, you're welcome. My pleasure.
So, Vonny, before we get started, why don't we get a bit of your backstory, and why don't you let everybody know what Cutco is all about and Vonny Fast's team?
Yeah, it's a long story, so I'll make it, it literally is a long story, so I'll make it as succinct as possible. But I started selling Cutco actually first year university. They hire a lot of students. They came to Canada in 1990, and I started in 93. I was first year, I was taking marketing at University of Calgary. Never wanted to be in sales, but kind of stumbled upon the opportunity in first year university and took it on. I was just going to be a summer job. And at that time, it was just selling Cutco to people in home through referral. And so I learned how to ask for referrals. I speak actually now to business audiences, mostly realtors, on building a referral-based business. But I didn't know it at the time what I was doing. I was just trying to I was doing a job, right? A part-time summer job, trying to run my own business, similar to maybe college pro painters or whatever. And it became something that I was like, wow, I like this. I like building relationships. I like I started to believe in the product, like as I learned more about it. And yeah, and it, just one thing kind of led to another. And I ended up doing, like, making that long story a little bit shorter, I did in-home sales and service for my first 15 years as an entrepreneur. It's kind of started. Put myself through school with that position. Um, Built my database 100% through referral, like almost 100% through referral, and graduated from university. Went into management with Cutco for a couple years, and then went back to just more of the professional selling side. I actually like that better, and really put myself all the way through, I don't know, my mid to late 20s, the early 30s, traveled the world, doing this Cutco gig, building my client base, getting a taste of what it meant what it felt like to be an entrepreneur, of course. Um, and then Cutco came out with a program for business owners, really specifically for realtors and mortgage brokers. That was kind of the niche, and it was called Cutco Closing Gifts. And that was about 17 years ago. And I was in a place in my life, I don't know how, I don't know, 35 years old, maybe a little younger, but I was just kind of looking for that next step, next level. I'd done the in-home sales and service for years. And so I took it on as an opportunity. And there was something about it I really liked right away. And now, so fast, 17 years later, I've served this industry, built this brand with the help of a few colleagues, not just me. It takes a village, but building Cutco Closing Gifts across Canada. We now serve over 5,000 realtors and mortgage brokers across Canada with their closing and referral gifts. And we do have a couple other products, but we primarily use Cutco as a vehicle for gratitude and generosity. We wanted to find business owners, especially realtors, mortgage brokers, something that would last, that they could gift clients, that instead of the typical basket or gift card, bottle of wine, dinner out. Those are all awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love a good bottle of wine or cookies, right? Consumables. But we wanted to get people something that they could gift their clients, that their clients would use daily forever. And that's Cutco fit that perfectly. So, yeah.
And how did, when you going through the beginning stages, right? When you just
Yeah.
got Cutco, how did you learn what you do today? Like, what did you have a mentor? Did they have training? Like, what was it? It was just innately knew that relationships were going to build referrals. Like, how did you get there?
So crazy, because I was 18 when it started. So they hire a lot of university and college students, actually, and yeah, they have 3 days of training. It's quite renowned across North America, their training. So I went into sales training. I learned how to ask for referrals. I learned how to call people. So I had to make a list of everybody I knew, my sphere. If you were in my mom's address book when I was 18, you were getting a phone call. I was totally shy. I was totally awkward. Had no idea what I was doing, but I just read a script. They told me to do that. So there's something about being kind of, I don't know, I didn't know any different. So it became my normal pretty fast. And it wasn't actually even at that time about, now I understand. And I speak about relationships in business. Now I get it. But back then it was just like, I'm going to go see all my friends and family. I'm going to show them these knives. I'm going to create a great experience because it needs to be referral worthy. And I'm going to ask for referrals every single time. And once I got the hang of it, I averaged 7 written down referrals per presentation I did back in the day, whether they bought or not. And that kind of went on. And then it was years, like it really was years. Like, we got to keep in mind, it was 93. I don't even think there was email. I don't know. There was no social media. Like, I didn't even have a car. I took the bus around to all my appointments and whatever. So my point is, I didn't even have a database. I didn't have anywhere, like, no technology. Anyway, so it was a few years in that I think I started to learn, oh, I should probably track these people. I should put these people somewhere that I'm being referred to, that I'm seeing, that are now buying, and put them in a database of some sort, and start to keep in touch a little bit better. And
How important was that? What happened when that took off? Like, when you started to become more organized, was it easier? Did your sales increase? Like, how did that?
huge, huge. Like, even 10 years later, I remember having a database of like 1,500 or 2,000 like clients. I think when I really transitioned from residential, I call it residential in-home sales and
Mhm.
service, to the B2B that I do now,
Yeah.
I had like almost 3,000 clients on my database. That,
Wow.
and so I was missing probably 500. Like, I don't know where those, hopefully one day those people will come. No, my point is I once I started to, I think actually it's probably started as an Excel spreadsheet, to be honest. And then our company had like a CRM, something,
Yeah.
and started to do that. But yeah, I would send out specials or value add emails. I started to learn how to do that. And it was powerful. I'll actually fast forward a little bit for you guys. It's kind of cool. So I came into this industry, I already had a knowledge then of like, it's important to keep in touch. Let's love on these people. Let's pour into them. Let's continue to be visible and valuable to my client base. And then I went into the gifting side of things. But probably a few years into that, I was building basically a full new database, right? So I had my in-home sales and service, like my residential clients kind of over here, that segmented, whatever. And then I was building basically my realtor database, realtor and mortgage broker database, business owners. And I remember kind of going through that, and I already knew that, and I was starting to build. I was like 200 clients, 300 clients. It's crazy because it was like by one, started through referral. I asked my residential clients for referrals to realtors. That's kind of how I started that, right? Nobody was just handing me leads. I don't actually know how to pay for leads. I don't know any of that. So I did it all through referral. And I was starting to build my realtor database. And a few years in, I was like, yeah, I should probably, like, I had done some email marketing prior to that. And of course had kept in touch with my residential clients and kept offering value to them. But I was like, I should probably like email my realtor client base. It was I hadn't done a newsletter for them or anything. And my founder of my program, bless him, he's amazing. He's like incredible. This was back in, I don't know, 2008, 2009. He goes, Vonny, you don't need to email people. You don't need to do any of that. Just like, reach out, call them, whatever. But I was like, I think there's something to this. Like, I should probably, and I put together an email newsletter, a value add email newsletter. I threw it together like myself. There was no Canva. There was nothing. Anyway, I threw it together like, what do my realtors, what do my business owners want to hear right now? So I put together a quarterly newsletter. And shortly after, like a few months in, I was like, maybe I should share with them and send them a goal I have to hit, like this target, being number one in Canada at the time, and I'm this far away, and I'm wondering if maybe I should share that and give them a special and save them the shipping if they order within a certain amount of time. And I sent that out, and it was nuts. I still remember having to call my best friend and being like, can you, because I didn't have an assistant at the time, I'm like, can you help me write up orders? Because it was like, and it was a smaller database at the time. I remember getting $30,000 or $40,000. Like at the time, that's still a big week for us. And and all my colleagues across North America are like, what did you do? And I'm like, I guess I just emailed my clients. I shared something that mattered to me. I put together a special for them. I had been keeping in touch in a value adding way as well. And it just was like, they were like, Vonny, we're going to help you hit your goal. I had realtors emailing me and texting me like, I should do this with my clients. There's got to be a way. And so it's just,
Yep.
I think the whole message that I'm probably getting to there is, you know, um, is it's important to, like, obviously now I speak on keeping in touch, and it's not just email, it's reaching out, and we can talk more about that. And calls, text, videos, and value adding ways, and just pouring into the relationship. But there is something about, sometimes, on occasion, not always, but tying your database, your clients, people that care about you, that you care deeply about, into your goals, into the things that matter to you, that they can support you with. Because I think when you pour into relationships a lot, when you give, I always want to give way more than I ask for, 100%. Like, I just want to show up and give. But giving does start the receiving process, and there's something to when something really matters to you and you share it with the people, your tribe, your crew, your people. They really they want to help you too. It's kind of crazy.
I think it's so important. I see you do this really well on the social media side of things, to the point where I've actually given social media seminars where I use you as an example. I'm not sure if I ever told you that too. I show
No.
like, hey, look what
What?
Vonny Fast does, right? And I show how you don't just use, say, social media as like a platform for advertising. It's not just like, here's all like, the Cutco, 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 Cutco. It's like you put a lot of your own stories in there, and you make sure that you make it like about the relationship, right? Because it's not just about selling the product, it's about maintaining those relationships. And I was really impressed. I remember the day that I clicked on that follow button back in 2021, whatever it was, to go through it. And I was like, this is it done right. Because there's so many realtors out there, and I'm sure you've seen a bunch of them too, who their social media profiles is just like, here's my open house, here's my house for sale. And like, that's all it is, right?
Right.
But it's got to be more of the personal stuff too, because like you said, that's what people care about. And we're in a relationship industry. It's not just like me. It's like us and how that relationship works back and forth.
Yeah. People want to get to know you, right? And I want to get to know them too. Like, I'm not the best at it. I mean, I have a large number of realtors and mortgage brokers and business owners that I serve, and sometimes I forget details, and I'm like, "What? You have kids? How did I not know that?" Like, I'm not this. Yeah, sometimes I forget names too when I see a client, but I'm like, ultimately, so I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at this, but ultimately, I want to know about them. I want them to know a little bit about me. I want to be authentic, and there's this great saying, Scott Stratton is like authenticity. When you're authentic, you have no competition. Like, and John Ruhlin, actually, I'll probably speak about him a little bit. He wrote Giftology, is one of my mentors. He passed actually at a really young age last year, but he wrote he was like, relationships take you places marketing can't. Anybody can steal your content. Anybody can steal what you're doing on your website. Anybody can steal your marketing, but they can't steal your relationships. They cannot basically copy your relationships. And when I think about our business and realtors and mortgage brokers, and most businesses are, all we have is relationships. We don't own the houses. I don't own the Cutco. I don't own the gifts. You don't own the product we sell, I guess. All we really have is ourselves, the product we sell here, right? We believe in ourselves as much as we can, or maybe people sometimes believe even more in us than we do in ourselves. But all I have, my only asset I see, is my relationships. That's everything. I don't know. I had a quote. There was a quote: "Money doesn't grow on trees; it grows in databases." And I mean, money isn't a huge motivator for me. It's truly like, yeah, it's. That's all I've got. Why wouldn't I pour into that? And I get it. Some people are more transactional, and I get also, like, there's certain things people do to advertise to bring in those new relationships. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But and I do speaking to build it, to bring in new relationships, and that speaking is all through referral. But when I get when I connect with you, whether you become a client or not at that time, and if you become a client, like, I'm gonna do my best to pour into that relationship. And
How
that's,
many real estate agents have tried to convert you to be a real estate agent?
oh, quite a few, yeah. And I would be very, very nervous to be a realtor. I think it's you guys, it's insane what you deal with. I mean, my business is similar, like
Oh yeah,
yours.
relationship. Well, adore. Yeah, sure.
But definitely people are like, you'd be a great realtor. I wouldn't want to compete with you. I'm like, I wouldn't want to compete with you. You got to deal with like midnight offers and things like that, and multiple. It's crazy what you have to deal with sometimes. But also, I deal with different things on my side. But
I believe if an agent just literally just said, okay, and I know they can't relate you, but if they get that motivation and passion, what you speak about, and they're able to take something from that and say, you're right, I should be thinking more of what I do to make sure people understand how much I care, right? Because a lot of times we care, we just, gosh, time goes by and you're like, oh, I haven't sent that gift yet, I haven't done anything for them, and then you forget, or something's not reminding you, or I'm not organized enough. And so, and tell me a little bit, like, as you had mentioned, wine and, stuff, consumables. Tell me a little bit about the reason why your product works so well for referral business. Because that's another thing. Like there's you, people that love you, and you're gonna, sell as many knives and all that kind of stuff as you can. But really, the beauty of having something that you are selling that helps with the referrals too, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
A word I wrote down when you had mentioned it, I wrote down sticky, right? Because
Oh
I
yeah.
think we talked about that before, and
Yeah.
I'd love for you to explain what you do with that referral business with the stuff you sell.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'll get there. One thing, it's interesting. Business, there, Scott Stratton has this quote: "Business, if you believe business is about relationships, make building them your business."
Yeah.
And like, there's this stat I speak on: is 69% of people will leave us, their salesperson, their realtor, their mortgage, whatever, if they perceive indifference to the relationship. It doesn't even matter how good you are at gifting or selling homes or whatever, like that matters. Don't get me wrong. We got to be good at what we do. Competency is key, right? But people, if they perceive you don't care, so how do you scale care? How do you show care in ways how do you scale meaningful engagement and thoughtfulness, especially as we grow and get busier and whatever, and you run out of time and we wind up playing catch up with losing even if we want to stay in touch with our clients, we get busy, and then those fall through the cracks and we don't do it right. So okay, so going to the product, I will in a moment, but I think there's certain things that we can do along the client journey. Um, I'm sure we have a process, or hopefully most realtors, if they're not brand new, they maybe have a bit of a process that they work through to get that client, right? They're doing the listing presentation, they sign whatever documents, and then they're helping that client buy or sell their home, right? And then that really starts the client journey, right? We're trying to create as great of an experience throughout as we can. And then, conditions come off, and maybe that's where we send cookies, or we send Cutco, we send something, or closing gifts and different things. But um, I think what matters is that we start to see the end of a transaction. Well, first of all, we don't see that person as a transaction, and I think sometimes that happens, right? We get caught up in the numbers, but we see it as the beginning of a really lifetime relationship, and and it's our obligation to continue to pour into those people. And so, what that looks like, and we can talk more about how, reaching out and kind of some of my strategies around that. But the gifting side, it's interesting. There's so many places along the client journey. And I would even argue, like, I send a lot of gifts before somebody's my client, because I want to surprise and delight people, and it creates meaningful engagement. And boom, suddenly they're a client because they were just blown away by whatever I sent. But there's so many, like, if we just look at a client, conditions coming off, closing gifts, first year anniversary, referrals, like somebody does send you a referral. How do you say thank you there in a way that's meaningful? And I think why Cutco, like why it's honestly one of the only products we've looked around for other stuff, like other world class. We had to make it world class. Like it had to be world class, useful. And it's hard to find, like, the close, like sometimes I think of the Cutco as the Yeti of knives. Um, but the idea around Cutco, or whatever people are gifting, get something for people that if your gift could represent how you want the relationship to go, make your gift, or at least part of it, memorable, long lasting, useful, and world class. So every time the client uses, so when we speak about sticky, every time your client uses the gift you gave them, they think of you, they remember the experience, it's commemorative, they can't help it, you get a piece of their attention. I think we all want top of mind awareness. And a gift, if done well strategically, and I'll speak to what that means, but if it's done well, meaning it's given at the right time, meaning it's thoughtfully messaged, right? With a little handwritten cards are key, and it stays around. You get these multiple impressions through the years, and so do they. Like, I want to give a gift that's 20 years from now, 10 years from now, they're texting me and they're going, guess what? I just used your gift again this morning. Like, that's cool. And so I think that's why I'm quite passionate and biased, obviously, towards the Cutco, but it could be anything. If you can find something world-class, useful, really high quality. ideally that can be custom engraved. Like these are things that get out when people are entertaining. They're always there. It's important to gift, I think, something that's going to stick around, or at least have that be part of it. And I know it sounds really simple, but if you give something that's just going to be gone in a couple months, or flowers die, or and hey, there's a time and place along the client journey. I think for like first year anniversary, like bottle of champagne shows up. Wow, like there's a time and place for consumables for sure, but really consider as part of your gifting strategy something that's going to stick around.
The proof is in the pudding with when you sent me the gift. Like I said, we use it almost every day. So believe it or not, I actually think about Vonny Fast like on a regular basis, almost every day when I'm cooking dinner, right? Because I take out that knife.
Well, right? Really ingenious. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's amazing. Even my kids like know the story, right? Like they know your name. And then like you've never met my kids, but
that's so awesome. Right? And when we talk about referrals, like honestly, I think any business owner could benefit from this, or all the realtors that are listening or whatever. But
Linus, when your kids become real estate agents, they're going to be
they're going to call Vonny Fast. It's so interesting because I think there's not a lot of gifts too that love on the inner circle, meaning a lot of, like, let's say, a lot of, let's say, I don't know how to word this, but a lot of gifts go to the person, just that person. And maybe they take it home to their partner and their family, and there's a basket, and they're going through, and there's some jams and stuff that people are going to use in the moment or whatever in the next few weeks. But what's so cool is, I want to give a gift that their partner, whoever I'm gifting to, their partner is like, who's this girl that sent you this thing that we are loving and using every day? Like, and I kind of want, and also when we think about referrals, if you have we cannot call a client 250 times a year. That would be creepy. But we can give a gift that they're using 250 times a year, or 2,500 times a year, over however many, or over 10. You know what I mean? I think that if there's multiple impressions like that through the years, and of course you're doing your best to keep in touch as well and build the relationship in other ways. You don't just rely on this gift that's going to be there in a decade or two, but I'm gonna be the one that gets that call in 6 years. I want to be that one that gets that call because I've been top of mind and generous and thoughtful throughout the client journey. It's not just the gift, but it definitely has an impact, and that's what we're kind of going for, is that long-term impact.
Yeah, and I love how you even said earlier, like you wanted to find something that was world class, right? Because you can give out really crappy knives that no one would ever use. Like you still give out a knife, but no one ever uses it. It's completely different than giving out something that's really great quality. Like we know that. Like every time I pull out the knife, I'm like, this is my favorite knife. Like you use it, we use it on a regular basis. And so it's important that you're not just giving junk, because that can be perceived, not only poorly, but also if it doesn't get used often, then it kind of defeats the purpose too.
Totally. It's kind of a reflection of it's not kind of, it is like, I'm sure you teach realtors, like everything you do is a reflection of your brand. It's not just your logo, right? It's like, how do you show up? And if a world-class gift is, I think if you want to be perceived as a world-class brand, I think that's important, right?
Yeah. How many of those pens that have got, they don't work? Dulal, this pen is great, by the way. Dulal Baumick, he's one of our realtors. I just looked at the pen, his name's on it.
Yeah.
And it does work. So good job, Dulal.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, totally. Right. And yeah, there's giveaways and different things. Sometimes, it's got to be a little bit. Yeah. If you're going to, there's a concept of, if you're going to give a chocolate bar, give like a $10 chocolate bar. Right. If you're going to give a cookie, give the best cookie. Like they also say, like I've learned from some of my mentors, and John Rule especially, like if you have a budget of $100, I don't know a good example of this, but instead of trying to put a bunch of less expensive or cheaper things together, spend $100 on like I don't know, I don't know what that would be, but on one thing that's amazing.
$100 pen is pretty good. Like,
right.
let's be honest. You spend $100 on a pen, that pen's sticking around. You would hope, anyway.
Yeah.
Pens, I lose pens though, so don't bother sending me any pens.
Totally. Yeah. But yeah, it's like that concept of one good thing, one world-class thing. You've got the same budget versus a bunch of cheaper things is really quite powerful. And
I guarantee, Vonny, you're the kind of person that if you're like, hey, let's like, exchange gifts, we'll do a $20 budget. You probably like, I'll actually spend $30 like secretly behind like the scenes, right?
So.
You always break the bank on the budget, don't you?
I do. I you know what? I don't know. I speak on generosity, and I try to live it. Because I do, and I don't mean break. I actually don't mean breaking the bank. However, I do have flaws. So generosity, I think we can show up generously in many ways. I think I my mentor's advice was to put 5 to 10% of your budget into strategic gifting. I think he did 15%. He always did more, and I bet you I'm a little bit more like 10 to 15% if I looked at all the things. But I'd rather work with people again and again and again and have them refer me than spend that same money on advertising and getting in or mail outs or I don't know or whatever that gets me cold leads. I just I guess I'm more, yeah, that's the first place my budget will go is into my relationships. Yeah, so I don't go crazy on it. And honestly, sometimes for people that don't have a budget and they're just starting off, sometimes that handwritten card is so powerful. Like sometimes it's a video, you could send that costs nothing. Sometimes it's, sending a gift, even a Yeti mug, instead of a cheap mug, right? Or the Cutco or whatever it is. But it's handwritten cards go a long way. I think sometimes these things are seen as old fashioned in a way, but I kind of I'd rather do things that are opposite to what everyone else is doing.
It is getting harder. I have to tell you, it's been 20 years in the business, and handwritten cards wasn't as hard to sell 20 years ago, even right now. Now it is like, handwritten cards. Literally, pens are not something that's kept around the home anymore. Like people aren't writing things down, and people aren't putting pen to paper. But you're right, 100%. When you get something's like people aren't doing, that's where the advantage is, right?
It's true. I think we all want to stand out as business owners, especially realtors. There's so many realtors. How do you stand out? How do you do that? And I think we underestimate gifts. We undervalue them. We don't think about how they could be so incredible and strategic, like what we've been talking about. We don't maybe write those cards after a networking event or a community event, write cards to people you met, or you write a handwritten card, first year anniversary, and you send some flowers or cookies or a piece of whatever it is, right? Or referral gift. We send a coffee gift. I think you're doing it right if you're sending a handwritten card, coffee on you when people send you a referral. But what about when that referral closes and it's a successful referral and that referral source, was responsible for putting $20,000 in your bank? Thank that referral source again. Like send a piece of obviously we have referral gifts. Send a piece of Cutco, or do something. Right. And I think handwritten cards are so powerful if you don't have a budget. And maybe it's handwritten cards to your dream client too. Like, hey, I was just, following you on social. I love your whatever, or whatever your dream client or dream strategic alliances. As a realtor, you've got some people maybe that you just want to partner with, a top mortgage broker or a builder. And you start loving on these people and pouring into them with no strings attached. I think that's the key when you do anything. When you send a gift, when you send a card, when you send a video, it's just, I'll tell you guys quickly. So when I was just starting off in the realtor side of things industry about 17 years ago, I was trying to get a hold of a guy in Calgary who runs still the top Remax office in the world. Anyway, Remax Central. And he wasn't like, I'd seen him at an industry event. I was trying to be visible out there in the industry, just like a realtor would try to be doing community events and meeting with their sphere and kind of getting out there. Maybe they are putting some, their face on bus bench, things like that, different things. But I could not get a hold of this guy. He's the busiest guy, right? Running the number one, whatever office. So I was just like, how do I get a hold of this guy? What do I do? And I don't want to be annoying, but I'm going to be persistent. Because I got value. I got value to offer you and your people. I want to speak at your office meeting. And so I could have been just a handwritten card, but I spent the money on a knife. I got it engraved, like made especially for whatever his name. And I walked into the Remax Central office, met the gatekeepers, met the receptionist, I think I probably bought Starbucks coffees in or whatever, just to like surprise and delight the reception gatekeepers. And I was like, hey guys, I just have something for so-and-so. Can I just pop it on his desk? And it's so funny because I still remember they let me weirdly go into the office with a knife and just put it on his desk with a handwritten card and say, no strings attached. I wanted you to have this, thinking of you. Just, I hope you'll carve out some time for me in the future. But again, no strings attached. To the sharpest broker owner in town, whatever. I don't know.
And you must have the greatest puns.
Yeah,
I do. It's like on the Cutco spreader. Thanks for spreading the word. It's our most popular referral gift of all time. But anyway, so 2 hours later, 3 hours later, swear to God, he calls me up. I pick up the phone because I have his number in my phone. I pick up the phone and he's like, Vonny, you got me. All right. What do you want? And I'm like, book me in to speak at your meeting. I want 7 minutes in front of your agents to share this gift program. And boom, suddenly I was, a couple months later speaking in front of 100 agents. And
amazing.
Yeah, it's just
creative ways to get in.
In the door, access, right? We all want access. We want, but I think what sometimes we do is we don't show up first in a generous way. And I think a lot of times we give once things have been given to us, which is great. Like somebody sends a referral or it closes and we give a gift and we say thank you. And those are all important things, definitely to be, I guess, reactively grateful and generous. However, one of the most powerful things I've learned is to show up first. If we want clients to show up generously with referrals and show up for us in uncommon ways and have uncommon loyalty, we need to go first. We need to show up in uncommon ways, which could be a thank you card, right? Who's doing that, right? Show up in uncommon, generous ways first and surprise and delight people. And it doesn't have to be expensive.
What an amazing story that was, Vonny. Like you've got me almost like rethinking some of the stuff that we've been training on for years too, right? Like I love the fact that you like you said, you identified your dream client and you took the steps, even though there was a lot of roadblocks in your way, and you made it happen by just being there, no strings attached, just being generous and having that first approach. Yeah. I need to start thinking about great ways to like weave this into the real estate industry in ways that I can talk to my agents about it too.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, what if a business owner wanted to get on a podcast, right? And just you send a card, you send a little video, you send a knife, or you send a gift, or you send something. And one of the most powerful things has been I get my assistant to sometimes stalk someone on social media in a good way and find out if they're married and have like what their partner's name is. And then we'll send, like, it doesn't really work as well if it's a totally cold.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful when there's a level of warmth, something like there's some level. I've met you at an event or I was referred to you. I've been trying to connect with you. There's some sort of connection. And when you want to take that relationship in your business, whether it's a client or strategic partner or lead, from warm to hot, just show up in uncommon, generous ways. And I believe in showing love with sharp things. And I know that's probably weird for some, but it's been really cool, like, to do that because it stands out and it's different. Yeah.
One thing I love about you too, Vonny, is and I mean, I was going through your website and reading your core values, and there's a lot of things that really stuck out to me there. But just the genuineness of the way that you speak, the smile you have on your face, I can tell you're the kind of person who wakes up every morning and you're excited to go to work, right? Like you love what you do. You have a passion for what you do, and you've been doing it for a long time. Which a lot of people, you're talking about sharp things, but a lot of people get dulled to life and their job after a certain amount of time. But you've stayed sharp the whole time. Right? You really do enjoy everything you
Are you
do.
writing
I'm
these
trying to
things
find a
down,
pun
Linas?
here. I got to try to
Wow.
think sharp.
I can start too. My kids will hate it, but I can start.
I wish I had some right back at you there. That's really good. You know, yeah, I mean, I think 30 years as a business owner, you do go through seasons, right? Like you do go through times that are harder or whatever, for whatever reason. 5 years ago, had a devastating failed business partnership. I lost a friend, and it was just really, really hard. Like there's times, my point is there's times I get up in the morning and I'm not that excited, but it's because of something that's going on in my personal and professional life. And we all have that as human beings, right? I just don't want to come across as somebody who's, it's all joy and rainbows and butterflies. However, I think I've always tried to connect to why we do what we do, and I really believe in it. And it's interesting because when I started with the gifts here in this industry, I believed in it. I got it on some level. Same as when I started selling Cutco when I was 18. I got it on some level, but I didn't get how great the knives were until I was at a event and I had clients lining up to see me at this trade show thing that I did. And they were like lining up to tell me how much they love their Cutco. Tell me, like, honestly, and this is not a sales pitch. Like, they were lining up to get more stuff. And same within the real estate industry. I remember I was doing these gifts. I believed in Cutco as a product for in-home use, but it was really only a year or two in. I think it was, I'm just going to say her name, Terry-Ann Beijing. She's an agent here in Calgary, top agent of 38 years. She started ordering our gifts and putting a piece of Cutco in with her baskets. And I was doing this presentation to this women's group of realtors in Calgary. And before I was done speaking, she stood up and she's like, everybody in this room needs to give, like, she stood up and gave me more conviction than what I had even in what we were doing. So basically my point is I believe in what we do, not just because I'm like, it's because of when my clients are doing it right, I get to see that they're getting more from what they're doing. And that has made me believe in what we do. And I think at my core, I actually really, the only reason I think I started to like sales and stay with this whole thing anyway 32 years ago was because there was something about people and building relationships I wanted to get better at. I wanted to do that, and I wanted to build a community around me. And so I think, yeah, I believe in all that stuff. And then I will tell you, like Richard Robbins, like that group of people, I've been strategically kind of aligned, or not strategically, just aligned with them for a long time. And they've given me a lot, of like my core, when you talked about my core values of like giving starts the receiving process, those all almost like that Richard Robbins and like, and Storm at that, like they've given me words. It's almost like they've given me the words to put to my value. Like, oh, I'm like, that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. And I just, you know, yeah, so it's not all roses, but I do, we all go through challenges as business owners for sure. And as human beings, but there's some,
I'm glad you share that. Like you're so genuine and not all, and you just identify as, hey guys, I know I come across as like the most, but we all have ups and downs, right? Like,
yeah,
and you do, but you're infectious too, right? Even when times are down. I think
yeah,
that's the benefit of having so many people that rally around you, like
I
that
think
lady
so.
did there, right?
Yeah.
She rallied around you because she saw that you've helped her, right?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah,
helped so many people. They're willing to, come in and support you when you have tough times. So it's
totally.
important.
So true. Like your advocates, as
Uh,
I call them my gold group, but like 20, I speak on this a little bit too. 20% of your people are going to give you 80% of your business referrals,
yeah.
encouragement, reviews. Know your 20%, know your tribe, know your people. And Terry Ann's one of them, for example, but these are the people that will literally stand for you when times are tough. Like when COVID hit, we all didn't know what the heck was going to happen, what we were going to do. And none of us thought I remember going through, like, will my business be okay? Right? Like, will I be okay? Will we be okay? And it's so crazy in those times, like you see your advocates just rally like for you and with you. And of course you're trying to do the same for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. Those people take a stand for you when you need it the most. And they'll be there for you, just like human beings in life and our friends and the people we pour into and our partners, right? If we falter, like it takes a village to raise this girl up. I'll tell you, like my wife, like I'm not doing any of this alone. And I got a staff that's amazing. And so, and leadership, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. 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 So,
And when the thing I like about sales is when it stops feeling like sales, right? Like you're not selling, so you're just helping people out. And that's where I think we kind of vibe a lot on the same kind of wavelength here too, because the relationship side of the industry, like I always call it the spectrum. There's the relationship side of the spectrum, and then there's the transactional side of the
sure.
spectrum. If you're
Sure.
looking at how you deal with business, I've always resonated with people who stick to the relationship side of the spectrum because it doesn't feel like sales at that point anymore.
Yeah, it's the best, right? And that's really what sales like. I have another mentor that's like, his whole thing is keep helping people, keep helping people. And I was like, that resonates with me too. And like, that's when sales is, when you can reframe it as that, it's like sales is not a dirty word or bad word. Like it's helping people and finding solutions and showing up and serving, and that's, yeah, when I reach out to people, I try. It's not, I don't always feel like it. They call it the time of the great ignore too. People aren't returning your calls or texts. And I'm like, whoa, like I thought I had a good relationship. Why are you not calling me back? Right. Like, but I really, people are busy and just show up and serve, just show up. And I think, I don't know when but there's this great quote, relationships are won in the off season. Show up for them. And I had a whole workshop the other day with some agents about reaching out, and they're like, what do I say? What do I do? Am I going to be bothering them? What do I, just find a reason to call, even if it's just checking in and seeing how they're doing and what they're doing, in the summer, how their house is, how their home is, and just show up and serve and just show up and be there and just say, I intend to stay in touch. I hope that's okay. Like, once in a while, I'm going to reach out because I just want to be here for you and your friends and family. Anything you need real estate related in the future, I'm here.
How much of your time is now speaking, and motivating and telling your story, opposed to, focus?
Yeah.
And maybe it's hand in hand. I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much?
Yeah. Great question. I probably do 1 to 2. It's a little, it depends. 1 to 2 presentations per week. And a lot of it is at brokerages like Zoom or in person,
Yep.
or webinars, like sometimes a national webinar for a real estate company. Things
I mean,
like
are you marketing yourself as a coach now? Where are you taking things?
not at all.
Why
I'm
not?
so funny. I'm like, I don't know. I don't. Even I had someone ask me recently, "Do you get paid? Like, do you get paid for speaking?" And I should have said yes. I should have said yes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I had kind of assumed you were.
Yeah,
You could be. Yeah, you could be a featured speaker, headlining events. I
I
mean, you're
do.
so good at what you do.
I
Right?
do. It's interesting. I do run breakouts at national
Yeah.
conferences, or I was on the stage at Richard Robbins a couple years ago, the main stage, giving a talk on generosity and loyalty and referrals. And the thing is, I tie gifting into it. And then people come to me, they're like, I need help with gifts. I'm struggling. I'm running around trying to figure out gifts. I don't know. I'm not giving something long lasting or memorable. Help me. And so it really does. That's kind of where my income is in providing that support for gifting. And it's not like I haven't been paid. I've been paid here and there, but But no,
I've always struggled with gifts. I'll be honest. I've always struggled because I try, you want every single client you want to be personal with and think about what is it that they love and learn more about them so they get, really thought out gift. But when you get busy and you get, just in the rat race and all the rest of it, things, fall through if you, don't have almost an assistant doing it for you. But
yep,
the
100%.
consistency of having that one thing that people remember you for, or, it's the key item that's, oh, that was so great.
Totally.
I think that was something that I missed when I was selling for 10 years there was that key gift everybody was waiting for. Cause that's what I was known for. And I never got there. So, I met you a little too late in life,
Right.
unfortunately.
We talked about that, I think, the last time too.
Did we? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that's, so, of course we want to be like, what do I get them? What do we get them? But as you grow and scale, it gets harder to do. Sometimes you know something about a client, sometimes you don't know. And so one of my clients, she does 80 deals a year as a solo agent here in Calgary. She's amazing. And one of the most thoughtful, generous people I know. She gets talked up all over the industry for her thoughtfulness. She's got a closing gift room. Most of my clients have a closing gift shelf. She's got a closing gift room, but she's got her Cutco there. She's got some candles, like not a huge stock of everything, but some candles from a local company, some coffee bags from a local roaster. She's got she's got some things she can quickly put together that are significant and memorable. And then she'll add little personal touches like the coloring books for the kids or dog toys or whatever that's thoughtful. Or sometimes when she hears somebody say something, she'll go grab that thing if she has time. But she's kind of got some signature things that are thoughtful and memorable pre-bought. So then she's not running around trying to figure it out. And of course, like sometimes she'll hear something and then just go execute on that.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
you got to set yourself up with a system as you go.
Totally.
To make it easier, as otherwise you're going to drop balls and you're going to miss opportunities to give. You're like, oh my God, I had that, but 4 months ago, I missed that closing.
Yeah.
Like I missed that gift.
Totally.
Now I don't know what to do. Right.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I can't believe it's already almost been an hour since we started talking here.
Right.
But I mean, I feel like we could talk forever too, if you let us. There's so much value to the conversations. It's always such a great pleasure speaking with you. So Vonny, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, what's the easiest way people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. And it's so good talking to you guys. I love you guys. So, okay. At Vonny Sharp Gifts. So V as in Victor, ONNY Sharp Gifts is my Instagram. You can direct message me there or go to sharpgifts.ca. You can check out our gifts there too. You can reach out there to me. You can get a quote. You can just connect with me there. I think those are the two best places.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's never too late in life to meet Vonny Fast, so definitely reach out to her. I know Eryn regrets that he didn't meet you earlier in life.
Same, Eryn. I feel the same about you both. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Ditto.
So thanks again so much, Vonny, for joining us today. If you, the viewers, enjoyed watching the show, you can subscribe to our show pretty much wherever you find your podcasts online. And please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on those sites because it really does help. You can check out our website at livingthedream.show, where you can check out this and past shows. You can also head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.livingthedream.show to watch our podcast video streams on demand. Again, Eryn, Vonny, thank you again so much for hanging out today. Thanks for everyone for watching. Have a great week.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Linas.